have been told you should be seen and not heard. Your place is in the kitchen or in a man's house. But I beg to differ. I am Lilian Udodi. On Women's Court, we discuss issues concerning women, men, children alike. From HIV, bad relationships, sickle cell anemia, domestic violence. These and many more with our array of guests we have every week on Women's Court. Women's Court. You viewed a woman, you viewed a nation. Hello everyone. You're welcome to Women's Court. I am Lilian Udodi. Now on Women's Court, we discuss everything that affects women, children alike, from rape to sexual assault, to domestic violence, to sickle cell disease, to HIV, to prostitution, you name it, and we tell it. I am your judge on the show, and I have my jurors. Say hi, everyone. All right, so today we have it packed and really full for you. We're going to be discussing domestic violence, the aftermath of a bad relationship. What do you do after a bad relationship? What are the pointers as a young girl, a young woman, a man? What are the pointers to look out for in your partner, especially when you think your relationship is going sour? And how do you recover immediately from these relationships? I have a beautiful guest in the house, and after this short break, I will introduce her. Don't go anywhere. Let's take this break. All right, welcome back. Like I said before, it's Women's Court. I am your judge, and these are my jury. And today we're discussing domestic violence, bad relationships, and its aftermath. I have a beautiful, wonderful guest. I like to call her my sister because we do one or two things together. Yes, you can never go wrong with Fumi Akinshola. She's my guest for today. She's simply amazing, and she is going to be telling her story of how she survived domestic violence, an abusive relationship, and how she has managed to cope, and pointers. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, sit back, relax. Say hello, Fumi. For me, we have come a long way,
yes,
and I'm so glad you could honor me today.
Thank you.
Thank you. This is my maiden show for Women's Court, so yeah, you're officially our new face for Women's Court.
Thank you.
So thank you for coming. So can we know a little about you? What do you do?
Okay, do so many things. I'm a TV producer.
Okay.
I'm a presenter. I present the show as well. I also run a preschool, and I'm a mother of one, and I'm also a writer. Write for different online platforms and different things. So
Okay.
that's what I do. Yeah. So,
All right. So I know you were married
Yes.
not too long ago, and you broke it off
Yes.
because one or two things didn't go well. So I would want you to tell us a little about your life,
okay.
the pointers to how things they're going downhill in your marriage, and when it was time to call it quit.
Okay, I was married for 6 years. What were the pointers? I think the pointers were one of the pointers which I noticed but I ignored. It was before I got married. Was his temper. While we're dating, I noticed that he, the one time we weren't even together, he was out of the country and I was in Lagos. Then he was saying, when he gets back into the country, he's going to Abuja, come to Lagos and all that. And the argument just went downhill from there. And he was shouting, like we say in normal slang, like raking, seriously vibrating over the phone. And for someone to be so upset just over the phone and shouting and yelling. And of course, at that point, I broke it off. I was like, okay, no. But you know how it can be, and people are like, oh, nobody's perfect, we were just angry at that time and everything. And then of course we now got married.
So this was while you were dating?
While we were dating, yes. So, you know, we broke off and everything, but eventually we came back together and everything. So while we were married, it was just a lot of, because sometimes when people say, oh, abusive relationship, people always look at just that physical assault and say, oh, you did slap, he just slapped you, or I didn't see any bruises on your body. Because in fact, someone even actually told me that, so you keep saying your husband is abusive, and I never see any bruises on your body. But there were a lot of psychological and emotional things, wanting to control you, wanting to, one of the things that abusive people try to do is try to cut you off from your friends and family as much as possible.
Definitely.
They won't do it outrightly sometimes. They do it in very subtle ways. So they'll say things like, oh, you know, we're a family now, no third party. I don't want anybody come to visit us. I just want us to, well, these your friends and everything. And then gradually they're just cutting you off from.
They could just put you in a corner.
So at some point you're at first you're, you know, wondering the red flags. And I always say to people, once those, there is an instinct in everyone. Once those things kick up, don't just downplay them and say, oh, you know. So at first, you know, there'll be red flags and everything, but later, you know, you start trying to psych yourself and think about it and say, oh, maybe he's, you know, he or she is trying to think about the relationship, and you know, there's this thing we do here in Nigeria, say, oh, you're a married woman now, you can't keep your single friends, you have to be careful who your male friends are. And then eventually, by the time you finish taking out who your single friends are, who your male friends are, you have eliminated everybody who was ever your friend.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's you know, one of the pointers. And then, like I said, control. Want you to control how you are, how you dress, how you look, who you talk with, where you're going to, who is visiting you. So I can recall at some point in the marriage when I was at some point I quit my job as a TV producer, and then I started teaching. So I was teaching because then he was out of Lagos, was in Abuja. So I was like, okay, since I'm teaching now, I'll be able to go to Abuja, and then we could just find a school instead of looking for how to transfer, look for regular work. So anyway, I went to Abuja to visit and spend time, and it was just one fight or the other. So I came back to Lagos, and because I went for a holiday, so I came back to Lagos and everything, and I told a lie. I said, look, I was going to, well, it was not a lie, really. It was supposed to be a training, but it was supposed to be like a week later. So I told a lie and said, look, it's happening this week, because I just wanted to get out of the place. And of course, he didn't, you know, believe. I didn't know. He told his driver to go to where I used to work to go and find out if it was true, you know, to just go and investigate. You
so
know,
all the stalking syndrome was there.
Yeah, so, you know, just to find out and everything. And then also I found out later, I didn't know that it was just one of my house helps that told me, because when I hired a help, one day the help kept telling me that, oh, Daddy's always asking what's happening in the house, what's happening. So I'm like, what's happening, like how? And then tell him what's happening, but you know, I just never confronted it, because I'm wondering, why are you asking what's happening,
asking a house help
what's happening in the house. So you know, those are those little things, and then you consider it and think that, oh, maybe he's just worried or something. But looking back now, I know that these are the, you know, these were like pointers to show you, like, why is he asking what's happening? I am the one in the house, you know, I'm his wife. You should ask me if there's any thing. And I'm thinking, okay, if you're asking the house help and then the driver is going to check where I've been, I'm probably asking the neighbors or who's coming here, you know, just all sorts of insecurities that all, you know, in that way. So at the point where you say, why did I decide to break it off? Trust me, I really didn't want to break it off. You know how we are, especially in this part of the world. You go from church to church. Yeah. I remember one time I say to people, even though I've never done this since then, I fasted for like 3 days without water or food. You were saying I will biri or something like that. You just, you know, I didn't eat. I went to, it was mentioned, they went to a particular church famous for prayer. So I went there, I was praying, you know, I'll pray for him, I'll anoint the house, I'll do everything. But you see, I didn't have my peace of mind. One, I was losing weight, not because I wasn't eating, but really I really wasn't eating. But you know, no matter how much food you're eating, if emotionally and psychologically you're not okay, it's never going to tell your body. So I was just at work, I couldn't concentrate, and then I was just living in fear practically. And then the what now broke the camel's back really was when there was a day he had another outburst, and then he locked me out of the house, said I couldn't come in. So at first I was thinking of, well, regular anger and everything. By the time I come in the evening to subside and all of that, because in fact I didn't even call my parents, because many times in the marriage my mom had come, you know, try to intervene and do all of that. So this time I didn't even call my parents or anything. I was like, I just wanted those things to subside and everything. And so when I go back from work in the evening, thank God I did that. I told my neighbor, there's an elderly man, that's my neighbor. I said, please, can you go and knock knock on the door and ask him if it's okay for me to come in and everything. And he said no, that it's not okay, that in fact they can't guarantee my safety if I should come into the house and everything.
Wow.
So anybody said, whatever, just chill. So I just went back to my car and I slept in my car till morning. So it was at that point that, you know what, I was like, hey, it's time. I can't do this for the rest of my life. I've done this for 6 years. I can't keep, you know, going back and forth with this and everything. So, and he kind of like made it easier for me, because, you know, when he locked me out and everything, and then family members came, and then when family members came and they had this meeting, because my parents refused to come this time around, and then we had the meeting, he couldn't really say anything substantial to say, okay, this is like the thing that she did. Because in fact, after the meeting, my uncle kept apologizing to me that when my dad said he should come, he kept thinking, oh, there was something that was really, you know, that was really, you know,
serious.
Yeah.
Would you say he had enough as well? Do you think he had enough for him to just, for no reason?
Enough of what, really? Because the thing was also, I think probably yes, but in the sense that at first when we got married, I used to just try and tailor myself to whatever it is that he said. So he said, oh, jump down the hill, I'll jump down the hill. Oh, you can't. I cut off my friends for a while, I cut off my family. So even for a while, when my siblings, I'll never forget, there was a time that he will come, you know, normally you have family members around, so it's not as if they were living in the house or anything. I'll never forget, there was one day that he came in from Abuja. As he was coming in through the front door, my sister was running away through the back. Do you understand? Because he had said that they can't, and then my parents, you can't leave her, you have to keep visiting her and everything. So as they was coming in through my sister was running through the back, that was how, you know,
serious
it was. But you know, it got to a point that, like, you know what, I can't do this. I can't not have friends. I can't not have my siblings.
Family.
I can't have. Do you understand? And then even when I, you know, because I quit my job in the media and then I went back and all that, and you know, I come my life when I'm at work. So you know, he was uncomfortable and saying things like and so this one here doing, and then, you know, like I only recently became a presenter. I've always been a producer all my life, production life. So when he will say things like, oh, that means men will start asking you out, Nadia. I'm like, I'm not a presenter, I'm a producer. Yes, my work takes me to different places and I meet a lot of people, but you know, I'm a presenter and everything. So anyway, that's so I think he also got tired of I was no more the malleable person that you just change. I just, you know, I just said, you know what, I had enough. I'd grown. I was like, you know, I can't keep stifling myself. I can't, you know, do this and all of that. And there was one time that I was working with an international company, and in my first assignment I had to go to an African country for like 2 weeks. So he now called me and said, so this your new job? I was like, yeah, what's up with my new job? Like, does that mean that you'll be traveling all the time? You'll be traveling. So I'm like, I have to travel. And then fortunately, in the company that I worked for, all the producers were female. And then we had bureaus in other parts of the world. So I was not, there was no explanation I was going to give and tell them that, I know, because I'm a woman and because I'm married. So our head of news was a married woman. What's it called? The other person too also was all the other producers and all the bureaus were married. So I'm just like, okay, so at what point do we would I give an excuse and say, oh, I'm married with children, that's why I cannot do my work and everything. So, you know, so those are, I think if you ask for him, I was just like, I just had, and you know, the thing with Nigeria is nobody wants to say I'm the one that broke it off. So they just want, so I'm like, okay, if nobody wants to say it, I will as well just say it so that everybody just have their peace of mind. So that's it.
All right, so it will interest you to know, in the course of my research for this particular topic, 1 in 6 women are usually abused in their marriage or in their relationships, and it's quite sad. And you must also know that abuse is not just husband and wife. Abuse could be siblings. Your sibling can be abusing you. Your auntie, your uncle can be abusing you. You might have family friends who are abusing you physically, emotionally, sexually, psychologically. But what is it you do? How do you cope? What are the pointers? How do you know when to move on, you know, from all that kind of abuse? So for me, you have a child, I know, and how easy has it been for you to cope with being a single mother, you don't have a man, are you ready to jump into the dating scene?
Well, now I am, because it's been 2.5 years. Yes, I am now.
2.5 years since you left.
Yes. So
would you say you have any regrets whatsoever?
Leaving?
No,
I don't.
Do you miss him sometimes?
No.
Does it get cold at night?
Do you know the thing is, even like yesterday, for example, and I was talking to one of my friends, and my friend was like, "Oh, what if, when I told her that, because I'm we're in court and we're going through a divorce right now," and she was like, and then I happened to even go to court yesterday, and so the judge was saying, if he doesn't turn up on time, there was some issues that he'll just dissolve the marriage and everything. So my friend was like, "You want to dissolve the marriage? So what if he changes? What if?" And I'm like, please, people, stop it. These are the things you guys say to people that make them go back to their abusers. You keep giving them this what if situation. It's not going to be what if. It's a grown man. If at this point he needs, what do we need to do to make him grow and change? Do you understand? So, and the interesting thing for me, why I've even actually just let go, maybe because I've also let go, is that I actually pray to God. I said, "God, if he even changes, bring me his own wife that will marry him. I will not be the one to marry him anymore." So that's the how have I coped? I think it's often psychological when people say, "Oh, to be a single mother," or this, it's just like how we tell young girls. I'm sorry, I feel like that's one of how we tell young girls how they should stay in relationships that are bad and everything, and we psychologically just put it, because when you find out, because now you've said 1 in 6 women, you find out that if we probably do a study in Nigeria, it's going to be more, because a lot of people go through stuff and they can't tell anybody. Like, you think you're the only one, and in Nigeria, when somebody tells you that, paper scratch my hand, I'll be very happy it's paper that just scratch your hand. Snake bits off my own hand, and the hand now grew back. We want to bring a sadder story. You don't know how to empathize with someone. So when someone is going through stuff, you tell them, go and pray, which was what I did. Go and pray, go and cook, go and learn how to swing from the chandelier so that other girls will not take him away, and some other things. And so it's psychological. So for me now, I was even still telling, I think it was even you a few days ago, that I'm actually a much better mother to my child now. I don't, and then luckily I always say to women, especially because I don't mind, always have your own, always have your own. There's nothing as fantastic as having your own money, as earning. One of the things that made it easy for me to transition out of that marriage was the fact that the day that he locked me out, because I've been saving money. I saved like there's no tomorrow. I save half of my salary. I'll go and do a job here. I'll do this here. I'll do business. So I used to save a lot of money, and even up to now, I still do that. So when I went to the bank the day he locked me out on my way to work, I still went to work. In fact, my HR was saying, "Why are you at work?" I was like, "No, because work has to be done. Life has to go on." So I went to work, and then I went to the bank. And so when I checked, because I didn't have an ATM or anything for that account, so when I checked, I told them to check the account balance. So the girl said, maybe like 900,000 or something. I said, "Please check it again. Do you show my name and everything?" And she was like, "Oh, yeah, that's how much you had in your account." So that money, I was able to rent a place, go and and then for 2.5 years when we separated, he stopped paying my son's school fees. Well, guess what? I stepped in. I paid my son's school fees. So then what's important is that I also have. Because you see, one of the terrible things that when they cut you off from your family, you have to be careful, because my family were the one that now helped me. My friends, my very close friends that knew about it, they were the one that gave support. My sister still lives with me now. She lived with me, my brother, my mother, my father.
Your sister who used to go out through the
back door. Can you imagine? So, they were the ones that offered the support. So when people come out and they now make it look like, because most of the time when people say, "How are you coping as a single mother?" it's mostly financial. It's mostly fine. People are thinking about, "Oh, how are you coping financial?" True, it's not easy, but one of the things I also tell people is, don't go and have children that you can't cater for. Because, for example, when my son was 2, people were saying that, so he's 2 years old now, you should go and be having another baby. My mother was like, "Yeah, right, you're inside this marriage, you know what I'm facing inside and be." And I say to people, like, when my son was 6 months was when I went to I had an implant, like family planning thing, and I had it in my hand.
Okay.
Why? Because my neighbor came to visit me, and she was telling me of how her firstborn and her secondborn, there was a few months difference. She was still, I think that one was still crawling. When she found out that she was pregnant with the other one, I was like, "Okay, for life, this will not happen to you." So I ran to the in fact, when I got to the to the clinic. It was Luther at the time. The woman was trying to give me one long sermon of, you're still having a small baby. Why you want to do family planning? I said, madam, is it your please give me what do you understand? So, and I'm saying to myself, thank God I didn't have a second child, because even a close relative was telling me, this is a close that had very great intention, said, hey, just have a second child, so that all your business with children, it has finished. I was like, yeah, right, because it's not only just about the financial aspect, even the psychological. And then one other thing also that's made it easy is that at first, when I separated, my husband was stalking me, and then he was trying to take my son from me. So what also happens with women, you say those things about leave it to God, and I'm always worried. I can't wait. I can't wait for us to get to heaven. God will slap somebody because I say, so many things you were supposed to do, you're leaving it to me. Seriously. So like those things. One of the things that I did was, I called the lawyer when he was stalking me, and I was not having peace of mind. He would call me at night, send me messages. I'll go to places, I'll see him there, he will come and harass me. So I'm like, okay, it's about time. So I called the lawyer and I filed for a divorce, and everything came down. So all those ones about threatening me that I would take my child, I would take my son, it's my property, all those things stopped. So now one of the things also is that he spends a lot of time. In fact, this Christmas they're traveling together, so he spends a lot of time I don't, even gives me peace of mind. So I don't have any issues of I'm hiding the boy, because he knows that legally, if you like, carry the boy to Basil, wherever at the end of the day, carry him to Mars by yourself, you bring him back. So why? Because there's a legal process. Everything is now in the open. So now that people will not say, yeah, go and pray to God, go and pray. I'm not saying that God does not answer prayers, but when faith without works is dead. So while you're working, while you're praying, work at it to involve a lawyer. And because the fantastic thing is that now there are lots of agencies to help you. Okay. There's Office of the Public Defender, there's the Project Alert, there's the Lagos State has something else. Do you understand? There's so many things. So you can't just say, let me go to fight for me. No, fight for yourself. Get people that will, help you. So those are, one of the things that also helped me to move on. So when you ask me that now, is it hard? No, because number one, I have a son. The boy knows his father. He spends time with his father. He has a happy mother, because you see, one of the things many women will say, they want to stay in an abusive marriage, they're not emotionally okay, so they start lashing out at the children. So I don't lash out at my son. I have a very healthy life. I have a very happy life. Yes, he's busy, and his part I live a very busy life, and it's also part of my busy life, but I don't react at him. Maybe the father shouted at me, and I'm not shouting at him or something. No, except for the naughty things that normally the children do. So as a single mother now, I personally am having a fantastic time. Yes, it's a lot of sacrifice, because sometimes when you pay sometimes when I pay his school fees, when his dad was not chipping, I'm like, okay, for me, that this is one that ideally you'd have used to travel and just go shop and just enjoy yourself, and then because I like to travel a lot, so I'm like, oh, this money going, what, you just thank God you even have the money to pay, so just pay it. And just, so if it's in terms of that, yes, sometimes it can, but emotionally and psychologically and even financially, it's not so. Now his dad is thankfully chipping in, so it's not so, oh God, end of the world, what am I doing? Hey, I'm still going on that, I'm just suffering. No, I'm not. Probably if I even go to many places, they don't even know until I say it to them. And so I think everything, like I was saying earlier, it just has to do with your mind. Because many things in this country, many of us, especially in the country being Nigeria, is we like to put where the victims, our politicians, all these rich men, this man, this woman. You like to put a victim mentality. Once you're able to change that mindset, you're able to overcome.
There you have it. For me, is a victor and not a victim. For me, lastly, before we go to our question and answer segment, from everything you have said, I didn't pick any part where you said he was physically abusive.
Oh, he was.
He was.
Yes, he was.
So he was physically abusive. He was mentally, psychologically.
I had to see a psychologist
at some point.
Because I was actually very depressed, which was actually what made it easier for me to move on. There was a time, like I told you, I was praying. So there was sometimes I didn't even know at that time that I was depressed. Was until I tried to kill myself that I knew that I was depressed. So my and I went to that Saturday. I was at home alone with my son. And so I was just going around the house, and I was just, because it's very easy for people to say, people that commit suicide, they're so selfish. We're not thinking about their family. No, you see, when that thing comes, it's like a cloak. It just comes like over you, like, look, just end all of it. Because, someone that told you you're a bad wife, you're not a good person, your self-esteem was low, and it was like everything that I do was not right. So there I was praying. Sometimes I'll wake up in the middle of the night around 2 a.m. and I'll try to pray, and I'll cry to like 4 a.m. or 5 a.m. and I'll wake up to prepare for the day.
Where will he be?
Most of the time he was not around. Like I said, he was out of town, staying in Abuja and everything. So it was when I went to the psychologist. I don't know, well, it's a government hospital. I don't like to just so that it doesn't, it's the Yaba psychiatric hospital. I didn't even know now they're private psychologists where you could go, but I went to the Yaba psychiatric hospital then. So one of my neighbors was working there, so I said, look, because the day I tried to kill myself, when I couldn't do it, a spirit just told me inside me, said, for me, if you kill yourself, like, because it was only myself and my son, I was like, your son will find your dead body. It's not a nice thing. And so at that instant, I took my phone. I didn't even know, because I was crying. I didn't even know I typed it into a BlackBerry group that I belong to. That I want to kill myself. So friends came, my siblings came, people called with me, and so that was on a Saturday. So on Monday I went to the psychologist. And funny enough, I can't even remember his name, but the psychologist. Because in the government hospital, you say a psychologist before you go and see a psychiatrist. Okay. So he was telling me, don't go and see the psychiatrist, sit with me. Because while he was attending to patients and taking files, he was letting me talk. He said, because if you go to the psychiatrist, he'll give you a drug, and you'll be addicted to that drug.
You'll be hooked on
then,
it.
he says, you're such a young girl. One of the things that I think is disturbing is that you bottle up anything that happens. And I told him, yes, because you're married, you say, I don't involve third party, don't tell anybody what you're going to. In fact, the day I told my mom everything that happened, even though she was privy to some, all the other things, my mom was weeping. She was like, gosh, you kept so much inside. So the one of the things that actually helped me also was I was able to, so we underestimate how much it's talking to friends and family. We say, we take it for granted. You meet someone, you have talked to a person, you say, just talk to him. No, it's not just. So one of the things that a psychologist told me that I would never forget is don't bottle things up.
Okay.
That whatever it is, just try and find someone to talk to. And even if you can't find someone to talk to at that time, one of the things I used to do, I've stopped that now. I used to do it. I'm sure people used to think I was crazy then, but I used to do it in privacy of my home. Is that when I was very angry, I'll go to the wall and vent. I won't punch it. I'll just talk everything I want to say. I'll pour it out and just say that. So it just helped me to just move on from whatever it is. So I couldn't hold on back to it. So he was physically abusive, was emotionally. The physical one, someone can hit you and then there's a mark and then it heals. The emotional one stays with you for a very long time because you begin to see yourself in that light that the person has painted you, like, oh, I have esteem, I'm not good enough, I'm not this. So sometimes after I started building my self-esteem back, and then someone comments me and says something, I'm like, okay, I never really should take this compliment seriously, because I'm like, yeah, right, you're just there complimenting me. It's not true, because I never saw myself in that light. So it took a lot for me to eventually and then of course never underestimate some families are terrible, but I had a very good supportive family. So my family was able to help me to just also speak out, encourage me to move on. And then also because I was also working in a job that I loved, and then luckily he had come to do some display in my office, so my HR manager knew about it. So there was a lot of there was not, I don't say, because most of the people that were in our office, they were Nigerians. I don't like saying, because I work in an international company. But when they found out that this was, everybody was protected. It's like the day that he did the display, I was not at work. So, but people were calling me and saying, oh, for me, where are you? Should we come and get you? Are you okay? And even up until tomorrow, they're like, so for me, is everything settled now? Are you guys done? Do you need us? Even the guys in my office, the ladies, everybody was, offering, support. So it just made me feel like, oh my God, I have people. So I really now was able to just, move on and just get out of it.
There you have it, everyone listening, boys and girls, women, men, couples, intending couples. You don't have to be crazy to go to a psychologist.
No, you don't have to.
You don't. You could be depressed from being mentally abused, psychologically abused. Just go see someone, find someone, talk to someone, and telltale signs of abuse. Someone is stalking you. Someone is trying to box you into a corner. They don't want you to talk to family. They don't want you to be friends with people who used to be friends. They talk down at you.
Yeah.
These are some telltale signs that you are in a sour relationship. Let's go on this short break, and when we return, Let's go on this short break, and when we return, we will be taking our questions and answers from my jurors.
Are you there?
Women have been told you should be seen and not heard. Your place is in the kitchen or in a man's house. But I beg to differ. I am Lilian Udodi. On Women's Court, we discuss issues concerning women, men, children alike. From HIV, bad relationships, sickle cell anemia, domestic violence. These and many more with our array of guests we have every week on Women's Court. Women's Court. You build a woman, you build a nation. All right, welcome back to Women's Court. So today I have my lovely sister on board. Her name is Fumi Akinshola, and she has been discussing abusive relationships and the aftermath of an abusive relationship. So right now we're going to be taking our questions and our answers from our audience members and our guests. Our audience are my jurors, like I said. Who's going first? Danny, you want to go first?
Yes.
Okay.
My name is Damola Kennedy.
Okay.
I'm a student. I just want to ask you. From what you said so far, I figured something. You were privileged. You had the support. You had a supportive family.
Okay.
You were able to access this various amenities like a psychologist, the hospital. But I want to ask, what about in rural areas, like the northern areas, these educationally underdeveloped states, where ladies or women are pawned off to men at such a tender age, and they don't have access to these facilities? They don't have the support of your family, and in fact, their religion says that whatever your husband do, take it in good faith. What do these girls do in that instance?
Do I answer?
Yes,
coincidentally, I schooled in the north, secondary school, so a lot of my schoolmates used to get married. But the thing is that we always assume that they don't have, it's just like when we look at the market woman here. When you go and buy something from a market woman, when you're buying something from that market, you think in your mind that you are better than that market woman, in the sense that you feel like there's so many things that you have access to that she doesn't have access to. Guess what? When you strike a conversation with her, there's so many things. So I know that in the north, for example, I have a lot of friends in the north that are doing a lot of things for those young girls. So the most important thing, you said I come from a privileged background. Trust me, my father is not one big man, or my mother is one big man, and all the money I was talking about that I had was money that I had saved. So one of the things, first of all, is speak out. So that girl, there's a film that Stephanie Okereke did, which mirrors most of the things. I'm not trying to, but it brings light to it. Dry. Yes. One of the things that speak out, because guess what? A lot of NGOs are in that place. So yes, some of their religion. Well, guess what? Most of the time, it's always the poor people that give their daughters away. The rich man. Look at I don't know if we can talk about the president's daughter, for example. She's getting married. She's 21, and she's getting married to a man that she likes, a billionaire son. So it's mostly the poor people. So about access to psychologists, they have NGOs that help them as much as they can speak out and say they're seeking help to escape from it. If you remember the story, there was a young girl that killed her. I guess most of those we assume also in this part of the country, we say that those girls, they want to get married and everything. And some want it, some don't. You remember the story about the young girl that killed her suitor with rat poison and poison? She got off free. How did she get off free? Eventually, it took a while, but there were a lot of NGOs on the background. So because here, especially in Lagos, do social media, talk. It's not right now, but nobody's doing anything about it. Trust me, there are a lot of NGOs in the north that I do. Also, all you need to do is speak out. Reach out to someone first. Yes, you get a lot of backlash, and like currently now we're handling the Habiba case, where Habiba is, but guess what, there are a lot of NGOs working on the ground. I don't come on social media and make all that noise. There are a lot of people on it. So the first thing is speak out, seek out help first. You will find someone that will help you.
Wow.
So that's it.
So we have another question.
Yes, I have a question. My name is Anolwakwa Joshipe. I just want to ask a question. How do you go about it, and how did you know you are in a abusive relationship?
Okay, how did I know I was in abusive? First of all, like I said, everybody has an instinct. You don't feel comfortable, so someone comes into the room and fear washes over you. Do you understand? And then you come. There's a different thing, like when your HOD comes into this place now. There's a fear comes, but it's not like fear. It's like respect. Like I can't misbehave. My HOD is here. But when your boyfriend, for a girl, when your boyfriend comes into the room and you are totally, it's not like, oh, you're so happy to see him, like, or maybe you're sitting in bed, come around again, winking and everything. But when he comes in, you're just all cold. There's fear. You're like, what will he complain about? Well, maybe it's my shoe. Maybe is my hair okay? You're in a very uncomfortable state. You are in an abusive relationship already.
I know some women. To add to what you're saying, I know some women who, when once they hear their husband's horn, everybody runs. Like, put that there. Your daddy's coming. That plate, go and wash it. Yeah, and you see, she's like going helter skelter just because her husband has come home, and you can't understand it. That's also part of mental torture.
And then, the thing also is that we, in this climb, we don't draw the line within respect and abuse. So you say that, oh, you know, your husband is coming in now, so yeah, the place has to be clean. Will the place be left dirty and everything? Yes, of course, there's respect, but it doesn't now come to a place of where you're not
a slave.
You're not a slave. You're not able to express and say, honey, I don't like this thing. How can we do this? How can we think differently? And you're just like, if I talk now, they'll say you're in a busy relationship. And then if someone wants to also always try to control you, so try to find out, so where are you now? So what are you wearing? So who are you with? Where are you going to? Why are you going there? Why are you coming back? No. And then they're already, controlling. You are in an abusive, in an abusive relationship where you don't even feel comfortable to express your own views. To say, okay, this is how I'm feeling. Oh, this thing, or even just generally, you're walking down. You know me, I clown around a lot. So you're just walking down the road and you're saying that, look at that guy. You see his six pack, or he's this skinny boy that look like bonga fish, and then he's just saying that, hey, so that's how you look at someone with six pack. I'll give you a joke, a real life situation that happened. Okay. I used to watch, and I still it was only a Nigerian team that I support. I watch football. If I watch any foreign match, it's because of all the fine footballers that day. So, like in the last match with Nigeria and Zambia, our goalkeeper is so hot. So he's just a fine man. So anyway, there was this day that myself and my ex-husband were watching when Thierry Henry was still playing for Arsenal then. So I was like, oh my god, Thierry. You know, that was the only reason why I was watching the match. I was like, Thierry Henry, Thierry. So I was like, why you just going on about Thierry Henry? So I said, oh God, look at the television. He's not a fine man. He's a fine man now. Admire him and everything. And then he was so upset. Was saying that means that if Thierry Henry or someone that looks like Thierry Henry should walk in through this door now, you will go with him. I said, I didn't know where I'll pay. And, I was just joking, but he was so upset. And I'm like, oh my. So at that point when I was still climbing around, I had to come back. I was like, so I had to tell him, say, oh God, I'm joking, but because I was just joking. So when someone, all those simple things that, who are you talking to? Who is that? Your friend, your brother? He comes there 2 months. Why is he checking? I'm here. You already know that. And the thing about us, especially, I know that I'm a woman. I'll speak for myself. Women already we have instincts on so many things. Yeah. Not only just a relationship, or just when some things are not right, even though we refuse to follow it. And the challenge is, I say this all the time. Yes, I'm a Christian, but many people twist part of the scriptures to sting people and say things like, okay, so for example, when I was going through, I wanted to go through divorce, people quoted scripture of how God hates divorce. God hates divorce. You are sinning, and I'm like, oh yeah, right. Read to me all the other parts of the scripture. So in this climb, when you're in an abusive relationship, people say, no man is perfect. Go and pray for him. Maybe you are the woman that will change his life. I'm sorry, if the man is not changed from where he's coming from, he cannot change it. If his mother did not change him or his father did not change him, you're not going to change it. So he doesn't get everything. He was like, this girl has gone crazy. Okay? He just ran into our bedroom and then he now locked himself. So I think that was like the closest point I got. And then of course there were times of frustration, like when after I left, when he was stalking me, and then he would stop paying the fees and everything. There was something like, oh my god, I just wish that something I physically killing him, but the human thing of, I wish something would just happen to him. But now I don't even wish anything. And more or less I even found myself praying. I can remember one time he had recently after we were separated, he had an accident, and then here I had been asking him for money. Maybe he thought he was going to die, I don't know. So he now transferred the money I've been asking for him, transferred to me. He now called me around 3 a.m. said, I want to speak to my son. I said, what happened? Are you dying? What's okay? He said, no. I just had an accident right now. I said, don't worry. In fact, I prayed with him over the phone. I said, I prayed for him. I told him, people sometimes say, don't you wish he does die? I don't wish for him to die, because I think if you die, I will be father to your son. You have to be here. You have to be alive. So I don't talk about some of these things. I have thought about, which is the human thing, when someone is hurting or doing something, you're like, I don't know, I don't want to say the word, like sometimes I don't know if you guys have wicked lecturers. When I was at university, we had very wicked lecturers. And so there are some wicked lecturers that just be like, I wish this man would not come to school today or sometimes. So it's a human thing. So when someone is hurting you, you will feel like that. So yes, at some point I actually thought about, killing him. I think I physically tried to when I used it. Even though I know that probably if I had gotten that knife from me, I would have been the one shouting like a chicken. I succeeded, when he was able to run away. So,
wow,
yeah.
Amazing. Do you have any other question? Okay.
My name is Olushila Favour.
Okay.
My question is this. As far as this talk is concerned, I think we've been talking about women being abused in the relationship. Yeah. So I feel the guys, the men, do they also feel abused? As in, are they also abused in the relationship?
Yes.
And in what way? Apart from in what way, then what are the remedies for guys? Yeah.
First of all, one of the things I tell people is that and the research has actually shown that men are emotionally stunted. Why? Because you tell them, I scold people when they tell my son don't cry. And like you have to cry. Don't tell him you're a boy, don't cry. Say no, he's a
I
human
do
being.
that too.
He is a human being. God put that emotion there for you to cry. You have to cry. So you know those things about you say you're a man, suck it up. No, just you don't. Are you cry like a woman? No, those things are terrible. You have to cry. So you see, what also men are also actually physically and emotionally abused too. But you can't just say, you're a man, can't you control your woman? No, no human beings to be controlled. So the same way that women are able to speak up. When you know that this, like we say in local palace, this craze don't pass the water level, you just speak out like, I don't know what to, you know, when you have a woman, sometimes the woman will say, she loves you, that's why she's doing all of this. When you have a woman that is overbearing, like, who are you talking to? And you know, like, there was a story about a woman recently that went to kill a man's family because the man was dating her. It happened here in Lagos. He killed the man's family, the man's wife and children, set them on fire because the man is. So I'm like, okay, you are dating the man now. So what to concern the family member because she wanted to get him out of the way. So you have to, the man also, number one, don't, all that theory we say in this environment about is a man, the man is the head, speak out, because if not, you will just die with your own too there. That's one of the things. First of all, reach out for help. If you feel like this person, you can't control it anymore, reach out for help and don't try and be a man. So if she has physically hit you or stabbed you and it's paining you, because that's another thing for men. We want to, because like women now, I know that some women will cover it with powder, but when something happens to you, just like now, if you pinch me here, you will say I'll jump up like a frog. I'm like, but a man wants to hold it in. You want to be a man. Don't be a man. Just open up and let everybody know what's happening. So because it's from opening up that even if you can't solve your own problem, there's a proverb in Yoruba that say, it's whatever this adage that you say that laughing, meaning that when you tell someone that I've never heard about this before, you're scaring the person. They lie. Open up, reach out, and then I'm not a psychologist, so psychologists tell you about steps.
One more question, please.
Sorry. Okay. Well, yeah,
Sorry.
sure.
So, thank God you've answered the first part of the question. The second question: is there any way you can even prevent yourself being involved in an abusive relationship at all?
I think the thing is, if from afar, the highest thing is if it's from afar. If there's somebody you admire from afar, you say that the person is I'm sorry that I keep using local balance. He's a one-on-one person. You know what one-on-one means. When a person is not okay, he's always behaving anyhow. Don't make excuses for the person. Don't say, no, maybe if he's not feeling love, maybe if he comes in a relationship with me and they feel love, he will change. It's a lie. Love the person from afar. Let the person go for a deliverance or a psychologist and be, do you understand? So there are some pointers that you see the way the person behaves with their family members, their friends, always do display. And even sometimes some people are not physically, they don't come out in display. So you think that maybe it's only people that have temper tantrums. If you see someone that is always moody, always quiet, but they can keep malice for Africa, brother, run. Just run.
Wow. All right. I had an amazing time, and this is where we draw the curtains on women's court. So, abusive relationships, domestic violence, both physical, mentally, psychologically, emotionally, you have been sentenced to eternal bondage in women's court. You must also know that her breaking point or my breaking point is not your breaking point. So know when you have had enough, and enough is enough. You need to be out of that relationship. This is where we say goodbye. Thank you so much. Thanks for coming.
Thank you for having me.
My darling jurors. God bless you. Thank you to my camera and crew. You've been amazing, my fellow producers. God bless you. Till we come your way again, same time, same place, same station. It's Women's Court, and I'm Lilian Udodi. Goodbye.